Dear students, last class we completed early nationalists, their objectives, their demands and their achievements. Now we are going to study criticism of the early nationalist. Criticism of the early nationalist. Early nationalists have been criticized in different ways. They used the method of passing resolutions and sending petitions. And according to the other people, this is not enough to achieve self-government. They depended on the generosity of Britishers instead of defending their strength and challenging the British rule. Secondly, they failed to realize that British people, Britishers' interest and the clash between British interest and the Indian interest. They did not understand the clash between Indian interest and British interest at all. And British people, they totally plundered India's resources and increased their wealth. And apart from that, the early nationalists failed to draw the attention of masses. The members of these early nationalists were very limited. Only the urban educated Indians, especially professional groups, lawyers, doctors, journalists and teachers. That's why their attention is only limited one. Their influence was limited to urban educated Indians, not the masses at all. Okay, you see criticism of the early nationalists. Early nationalists have been criticized on the following grounds. First of all, according to the other people, what policy they followed is not enough to get self-government. We know already they followed the policy of passing resolutions and sending petitions. So according to the other nationalists, that's not enough to achieve self-government. Apart from that, instead of using their strength and energy and challenging the imperial might, they just depend the generosity of British people. Then, they failed to understand that British and Indian interest clashed each other. And apart from that, British people, they used Indian resources and increased their wealth. And the early nationalists failed to draw the attention of masses. Instead, very less people, that also their area influence was limited to only less people, that is urban educated Indians such as lawyers, doctors and journalists. Now see, what is the official attitude towards the Congress? Okay, what is the official attitude toward the Congress? In the beginning, British government, they gave full support to Congress movement, and few of the government officials attended the first session of the Congress and took part in its deliberations also. In the beginning of early nationalist movement, British government gave full favor and support, and they attended the first session of Congress and took part in its deliberations. And they invited to the garden party of the Viceroy, party by the Viceroy, Lord Dufferin also. But later, their official attitude soon changed, and they tried to divert the national movement by suggesting to him that Congress should devote only in social activities, not in political activity. Earlier, they given full support to the national movement or Congress movement, and they participated in first session of the Congress and took part in its deliberations. But later, instead of favoring the Congress people, they suggested them to participate only, to devote their service only in social activities, not in politics. Okay. Apart from that, Lord Dufferin, in 1887, Lord Dufferin, he attacked the National Congress in his speech and criticized it was only a microscopic minority of the people. That means very less number of people are there in early national group. That's why Lord Dufferin criticized it is a microscopic minority of the people. He criticized it is only a microscopic minority of the people. Microscopic means small one will see, big says. No, so that only will use microscopy. So here, see, after seeing the activities of National Congress, early nationalists, Lord Dufferin criticized it. It as representing only a microscopic minority of the people at all. And also apart from that, they criticized the National Congress people or leaders as disloyal babus and violent villains. Okay. Apart from that, British officials, they criticized these national leaders as disloyal babus and violent villains. So government employees, they did not, in 1890, the government employees were forbidden from participating in the Congress activities at all. And also, after seeing the growth of this Indian National Congress, British, they started to follow the policy of divide and rule. When Indian National Congress emerged as a powerful one, slowly British people, they started to follow a new policy called divide and rule policy. For that purpose, they encouraged some of the leaders like Syed Ahmad Khan, Rajashiva Prasad of Benares, like that leaders, and asked them to start anti-Congress movement. Okay, so in 1890, government employees were prevented from participating in Congress activities or Congress deliberations or attending the meeting at all. And apart from that, after seeing the growing unity of national leaders, they started to follow, British people started to follow a new policy of divide and rule. For that purpose, they encouraged certain leaders like Syed Ahmad Khan, Raja Shiva Prasad of Benares like leaders, and asked them to start a new party called Anti-Congress Party or Anti-Congress movement. Thus, they sowed the seeds of communalism between Hindus and Muslims on one hand, and between Indian masses and the leaders on the other hand. Okay, so this is the criticism by what official attitude toward the Congress or the British people criticize this early nationalists. Now see, now we are going to study about prominent early nationalists. Prominent early nationalist leaders. So first one, Dadabhai Naoroji. Dadabhai Naoroji, he was popularly known as Grand Old Man of India. He was born in Parsi family in Mumbai on September 4, 1821. As a mathematics professor, few years, nearly 10 years he worked, and afterwards he left there, in teaching profession he left. Then he went to England. From there he returned to Mumbai, and from there onwards he started to enter in Indian politics. Slowly he elected into the Mumbai Municipal Corporation and later the Town Council. There he founded an association called Bombay Association. Then he edited a newspaper, Ras Kapoor, and started a magazine, Dharma Marg Darshak. He started the movement against Vernacular Press Act also. We know already Vernacular Press Act means it is an act passed by British people to prohibit the prohibited publishing of various papers at all. So he started a movement against Vernacular Press Act and advocates treatment of poor persons by Semindars et al. Okay, prominent early national leaders. First one, Dadabhai Naoroji. He was popularly known as Grand Old Man of India. Was born in Parsi family in Mumbai on September 4th, 1825. Early years, he worked as a professor, mathematics professor, and later he joined in Indian politics, and from there he elected to the Mumbai Municipal Corporation and later to the Town Council. During that period only he founded an association called Bombay Association and edited newspaper Rast Gafoor. Rast Gafoor means speaker of truth. Rast Gafoor is a newspaper edited by Dadabhai Naoroji. What is its meaning? Speaker of truth. Apart from this, he started a magazine also that's called Dharma Marg Darshak. Dharma Marg Darshak. Then he started a movement against the vernacular press act, and the ill treatment of poor peasants by Semintas. Now, what were his contributions? First of all, as he was India's unofficial ambassador. Why is called India's unofficial ambassador? During his stay in England, he was looked upon as India's unofficial ambassador fighting for the cause of his country. He was called unofficial ambassador, India's unofficial ambassador because during his stay in England, he fought for the cause of his country. During his stay in England, he fought for the cause of the country. So because of that reason, he was called India's unofficial ambassador. Okay. Dadabhai Naoroji was called India's unofficial ambassador. Why? Because during his stay in England, he fought for the cause of his country. In 1865, he founded a London Indian Society with the help of W.C. Banerjee. W.C. Banerjee's help, he founded another society called London India Society. And this is mainly he founded to publish the grievances of Indians. This London India Society he founded with the help of W.C. Banerjee to publish the grievance of Indians. He was also the first Indian to become the member of British House of Commons in England. First Indian to become the member of British House of Commons in England. Then when he was the member of British Parliament, he brought to the notice of House important matters related to India. So what are the problems? What are the problems are there in India and how Indians are suffering in the hands of British people? All these things he brought in front of the Parliament when he was the member of British Parliament at all. And also he was in favor of appointing educated Indians to high post due to his selfless efforts. Only in 1893, the House of Commons passed a resolution. What is that resolution? Holding Indian civil service examination in England and India simultaneously. That is mainly because of the efforts done by Dadabhai Naoroji. He took active measure to conduct ICSE examination in England and India simultaneously. Then, in 1866, he founded East India Association in London, and this East India Association later became very powerful and popular, and it establishes branches in Calcutta, Mumbai and Chennai also. Okay, 1866 he founded East India Association in London, and that association is very famous, and its branches were set in different parts of the country such as Kolkata, Mumbai and Chennai. Then his role in the Congress. Okay, Dadabhai Naoroji activities in Congress was very praisable. He took active part in the foundation of Indian National Congress and was elected the President of Indian National Congress 3 times. 3 times means 1886, 1893 and 1906. 3 times he was elected as a President of Indian National Congress, and he passed the resolutions on self-government, boycott, Swadeshi and national education. These are the 3 resolutions Dadabhai Naoroji only passed. Self-government, boycott. Boycott means what? Boycotting all the foreign goods. Swadeshi means what? Whatever the item what we are producing in our own country, that we should use Swadeshi. And national education, these are the resolution he passed when he was the President of Indian National Congress. When Dadabhai Naoroji was the President of Indian National Congress, he passed the resolution on self-government, boycott, Swadeshi and national education. And also, apart from this, the demanding Swaraj from the Congress platform first time, that credit also Dadabhai only got, demanding Swaraj from the Congress platform for the first time. That credit also Dadabhai Naoroji only got. Under his presidential address, he said that Congress wanted self-government like United Kingdom or the colonies. Then Thirdly, he exposed the real nature of British people or economic ills of India, how Britishers rule our country, how they plundered our wealth, this and all very clearly he exposed in front of British Parliament. Dadabhai Naoroji, as an economic thinker, uh, he clarified that India's economic ill is mainly because of the exploitation of British people. And his views on Indian economy are given in his work. One of his book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, he explained very elaborately explained about how Britishers plundered our wealth and his famous drain theory. Drain theory also explained how India's wealth was being drained to England through various ways. Okay, a book on poverty and un-British rule. A book on poverty and un-British rule. His famous drain theory also he explained how India's wealth was being drained to England through various ways in the form of salary or pension or other ways. How they explain how they exploited our wealth, that he explained through his famous drain theory. And his book Poverty and Un-British Rule in India also explained about how Britishers exploited our wealth. So thus Dadabhai Naoroji played a prominent role in establishing this Indian National Congress, and also not only for establishing Indian National Congress, apart from that he left a big lesson of self-sacrifice to the nation and passed away in the year 1970. Okay.